What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the first figure. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily like the first release or first chronologically, but it's the first I'm going to be taking a look at. The first figure in the new Transformers Age of the Primes line. We're going to be looking at Prima Prime. Finally, I've been waiting quite a while to get this. Should have had it earlier, had some pre-order issues, but I was thankfully able to find this out in the wild just today, actually, at the time of recording this. So yeah, I figured I would hop on here and do a little review on it. It's been a minute since I did a Transformers review, and I am very excited for this wave line, whatever you want to call it, because as far as I know, this is the first time that Hasbro is going to be doing the original 13 Primes in figure form. And I really like these new boxes. I'm glad they got rid of that whole windowless packaging where it's nice to be able to see the figure again. You can see any kind of issues and whatnot. Got some really cool artwork here. We got the new Transformers Age of the Primes logo, Hasbro logo. Down there, the 13 Prima Prime. Now on this side we have really cool shot of Prima in robot mode. On this side we have this really cool shot of the different primes here. There's Prima, Vector Prime. I think that's Alpha Trion, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very, very cool. You know, this little tall R1 at the top here. See, down here he is a Voyager class. And of course, on the back, we get your obligatory product shots, bot mode, vehicle mode, his one weapon, and the little matrix feature. Not much more at the top or at the bottom. You got your standard, you know, warnings and labels and barcodes and things. But yeah, I'm going to shut up and dive into this because I'm very excited to check this guy out and see how cool he actually is. Alright, and here is Prima out of the packaging with all of his accessories. And he's a pretty cool figure. He's definitely different. You know, it's interesting being that he is a character I don't know a ton about. This is kind of my first, you know, real introduction to the character, I guess you could say. But I do like him. I do really like his design. I think he looks really cool. He's, you know, something different. He's not just, you know, your 50 billionth G1 Optimus or 50 billionth G1 Megatron. So he is pretty cool. I do, let's raise up here a little bit. I want to take a closer look here at the figure. You can see his head right there. Very cool, very unique sculpt there. Kind of has like a little bit of like a Megatron-y Ultra Magnus kind of vibe to it, kind of like Megatron with like this kind of like gunmetal gray like bucket head looking thing. Then kind of gives me like Ultra Magnus vibes with the face and the eyes, which you can see are painted there. There's not a lot of paint on this figure. It's mainly just these little blue bits all throughout, which I do like. I like these little bits of blue that kind of they really help, you know, just give a little life to the figure, make it pop. Looks like Energon coursing through him. See the back here. Does kind of have some hollow shins, but I do like how they have his wheels essentially kind of fill that gap in. But all in all, a pretty cool design. I like it. I dig it. He doesn't have a ton of accessories. He mainly just has his sword here, which basically comes into these two pieces. We have the hilt here. And you can see that's where the little matrix he comes with plugs in. Then he has a port. This is mainly for weapon storage. Alright, technical difficulties, but we're back. But yeah, there's basically the hilt of the sword. And we have the blade. This is really cool. Now, I didn't notice this from the shots in the packaging, but this is a translucent blade. I just thought it was a kind of metallic paint, similar to the actual effects, or whatever you'd want to call these bits here. But I really like that. I think that's a really cool touch. There's some really cool sculpted in details and things on there. Really nice paint on the silver here. And then over here, You can kind of see, yeah. You can kind of see there's this little logo there. I don't necessarily know what that logo is. Probably like for the primes or something. But it's pretty cool. And for it being so tiny, it is done pretty well. I initially, when I first saw it, thought there was paint chipping, but no, it's a little logo. And essentially all you do is just, you take it, pour it in here, and boom, you got his sword. And then you have his matrix here, which this looks, I love how this looks. Show you that properly here. It's silver, and then it's got this really cool kind of gradient there. I don't know how well it's coming across on camera. It almost looks like it's glowing. It's really, really cool. I like the blue that they use for the gem on the opposite side there, and you can just essentially take it and pour it on there, and there you go. You have his matrix saber thing. And he just holds it, and he holds that very well. He's not dropping that or anything. And yeah, he looks cool. I really dig this guy's design. I like it's weird because when you look at him, he's very simple. You know, there's not a crazy amount of color. There's basically kind of this like grayish color, some little bits of blue, and a few bits of this gunmetal gray. But, I don't know, there's just something really cool about it. I dig it. I really, really dig it. And you can take his sword, and there are these little ports right there. You just take that. Boom. And you got weapon storage. And there's another one on this side right here. So, that looks pretty cool. I dig that. I like that quite a bit. And it is nice that he doesn't really have much of a backpack. You know, it's pretty manageable. I mean, it doesn't even go past the leg things here that much. So, yeah, pretty cool figure. And you can remove the matrix from the sword. And it does sit on there securely. And you can come here, and you can see this little notch in there. Get your finger in there. Open it up, and we have a matrix chamber. And even in there, we got some really cool sculpted detail. And then you can just take it. If I put it in there the right way. And plug it in there. And he's got the matrix in his chest. Close it up. Bam. Really cool. I do dig this figure quite a bit. Now, when it comes to articulation, it's kind of standard. You know, there's nothing too crazy. There's nothing, you know, revolutionary going on here. It's like your standard articulation. Head is on a ball joint. You can get the full rotation. He can look up quite a bit. He can't really look down at all because of how the neck peg is in there. I don't know how easy it is to... So, he does have good back motion, but forward not so much. His arms can do a full 360. These shoulder pads are on a hinge, so you can kind of pose them however you want, but they can move out of the way so he can get about that far, which it's not like fully straight, but it's not too bad. He has bicep rotation, a singular bend at the elbow that gets a bit past 90 degrees, wrist rotation here, and he does have this, you know, open the fingers, and I guess you could kind of maybe say there's a little like wrist wiggle, but that's mainly for transformation, but it's there so you can use it. He has a waist swivel, which is kind of an interesting one. You'd think it would be like right here. There's even that line there, but it is actually underneath there. These hip skirts move out, so you can have him do the full splits very well. He can kick forward, kick back a little bit. he doesn't, he has thigh rotation, but because of how this is designed, it doesn't, you know, I mean, you can work with it, but it doesn't, it feels, at least on mine, is very stiff. I don't know if it's just because of this bit or just maybe mine's really stiff, but it's doable. You can work with it. He has, again, single jointed knees, which get a little bit more than 90 degrees there. His ankles, your feet cannot go down. They can go up a little bit. And he does have some pretty good ankle pivot. So yeah, nothing too crazy, nothing, you know, it's not the worst. It's pretty much, you know, standard fare when it comes to, you know, especially Transformers figures. It's basically what you're going to get. He doesn't have any butterflies or anything, which, again, is kind of because of the transformation. You kind of can't. Now, because of that, like this pose on the box here, where he's dual wielding the sword, you can kind of get him in that pose. Kind of. Like, you have to kind of, you know, because part of it's because of the hilt is so small. You can plug it in there. Gotta rotate this, rotate the hand, and you can kind of fake it a little bit. So you can kind of do it, but it's like, I don't know, Hasbro. I don't know. It's kind of false advertisement. It's not a big deal. But yeah, you can still get some pretty cool poses with this guy. All in all, not too shabby. Now, for some size comparisons. I'm going to change it up a little bit. We're going to show him off here next to mainly the other Primes in my collection. We have him next to the Siege Optimus Prime. We have him next to the Transformers Classics Optimus Prime. And we have, arguably the best mainline Optimus Prime, we have him next to the Studio Series 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime. And then, just for, I guess, jiggles here, here he is next to a standard, well, I got standard, but kind of your standard scaled Marvel Legends figure. There he is with the Maximum Series Spider-Man. So you can see he's around like the 7-inch mark. He has a Voyager size, so pretty much what you would expect from your typical Voyager. Alright, now that we've taken a look at the figure, the accessories, done some size comparisons, let's get down to the main event, the transformation. Now, what you're first going to want to do is come down to his feet. Just take his wheels here and just slide them out. They're on these kind of double hinge arm here. Just slide them out. Just like that. Flip up the feet. Peg. You can kind of see there's a little tab that'll slide into that notch. And there's another one down here. You just pop them together. And feet are basically done. Now we're going to come to the top here, flip this up. I'm going to raise up a little bit so I can have a little more room to work with to show you guys what I'm doing. We're going to then come to his arms, and you're going to want to kind of unpeg his arms from back here. You can see you just pop that up, it comes right out. Open up the whole way, and then flip his fists up. Just like that. We're going to do that on both sides. And then what you're going to want to do is rotate them full 180. So you have this kind of curve here. That's where the wheel's going to sit. Do that on both sides. You probably want to rotate it first, but it's fine. It doesn't really matter regardless. Then we are going to pop. Oh, here. Hang on, yeah. We're going to pop this back open and kind of just leave it on the sling right here just so it's out of the way. We're then going to grab this kind of whole chest piece and rotate it. Then you can see his wheels are on little hinges here. Just flip them out just like this. Don't flip them the whole way out because you kind of need some room to maneuver. And then you just flip his head back. Now, we're going to flip him around here. It's just a little bit easier because you can kind of see what's going on. I like doing it this way a little bit better. You want to make sure these are kind of angled up like this. That's how you want these to look because it'll make your life a lot easier. So what you're going to do, the instructions have you kind of do this in multiple steps, but what you can kind of do is do it all in one go. You see these little divots here? If you literally just push, you can kind of see up at the top here. These are all on a bunch of hinges. If you just push this up, and you can see right there, there's a little tab that notch is going to slide over. And if you literally just line it up like that, it does it all kind of for you in that one go. So you literally just slide it up, slide it in there, and it is actually kind of a nice, secure squeeze. It doesn't feel loose or anything, which for something so kind of tiny, I'm impressed with. So then we can come back here and make sure. What you're going to want to do is, this is kind of the part that I always mess up. You can see these little, they're not really tabs, they're kind of like, I don't know, extensions. You want these essentially up under his arms so things kind of sit a little bit better. So I kind of had to, you know, just undo that, slide them back in. Okay, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but you can see like the arm bits are kind of overlapping right there. That's what you want, because it'll make it makes it easier for this whole piece here to kind of just slide and fit in there nice and snug. And then you can flip the wheels up so that they're ready to go. And then you'll take this top bit here. There are these two tabs on either side. They just go into these, or two, I should say, slots. These tabs go into. Now, they don't kind of like peg or plug in. They kind of just rest. So you just put that down, and you can see they don't really go in. They just kind of rest there. And then we are pretty much in the home stretch. All you need to do is essentially make sure his legs at the thighs are straight. Then you can just bend him at the knees back. And you want these feet underneath this piece here. So you literally just kind of have to flex a little bit, which I'm not the biggest fan of, and it can be a little tricky. But yeah, just kind of angle his feet down just a smidge. And there we go. You kind of have to fiddle with it a little bit. And then this is, again, it's really tough for you guys to see. Oh, I can move the wheels out of the way. There's a lot of slots and tabs to that right there. There's a little tab you can see right there. It just wants to sit in there on either side. And then just flip the wheel. We want the wheels down. There we go. And you kind of just have to work with this little... You want it kind of... You don't want it flush. You want it kind of, you know, out a little bit here. Because if you do it flush, it won't sit right. But then, make sure everything's nice and squeeze together. Make sure everything's all good. And there we have Prima in his... whatever you call this mode. This is very much one of those, you know, hey, it's a Cybertronian vehicle thing, so it doesn't really have to look like anything. Just go with it. You know, it's kind of one of those deals. I don't know why he's kind of... Oh, that's why. There we go. But, I mean, it is cool. It's an interesting design. I like it. Yeah, it has a very Star Wars-y, alien, sci-fi kind of look to it. It's like this, almost like an armored tank transport thing. But it looks cool. I do dig it. You know, I like this translucent. I'll watch too much M go. This translucent blue here looks really nice. We got some more blue painted here on the headlights. Again, not a whole lot of paint on this guy. A lot of it's just, you know, molded plastic. There's a little bit like that's painted right there on either side. There's a little bit of paint there on the hubcaps. Now on the bottom, of course, you can, you know, his head's kind of just hanging there. And because of how the head is sculpted, how I showed you guys earlier, he has that kind of, I guess, recess, so he can have that really nice head articulation looking up. But because of that, you can't rotate this. It won't fit right. But thankfully, like, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't hinder the rolling at all. You know, it does work. So, I mean, I guess, you know, as long as it rolls, I'm not really going to complain too much. And now you can take his sword and store it. You just want to split it apart. You can come under here, and there is a port right there. You can literally just take the hilt of, or handle of the sword and just peg it in there. It's very tight. But there you go, you can just do that. Again, doesn't affect the rolling. And then you can come back here, and I don't know if you can kind of see it there. There's a little port, there's a little peg back in there. You basically just take this and plug it in there. And yeah, there you go. Weapon storage. Which, I mean, it is kind of funny to see him have like a blade on the back, but hey, I appreciate some good weapon storage. Now, size comparisons for him in vehicle mode, because he feels very small. I mean, for being a Voyager, he feels very deluxe, and even the transformation feels very like deluxe-y. But here he is next to Siege Optimus. Let's see how they look together. Here he is next to the Classics Optimus. And it's kind of crazy. This is like 2005, 2006, just here we are, 2025. Like 20-year difference between these two guys. And you can tell he definitely feels much bigger for Voyagers. But you can see them. And there's those. And of course, we have the Studio Series 86 Optimus. You can see how he scales with the Commander class boys. Alright, so there we have the Transformers Age of the Primes, Prima Prime, and yeah, I really do like this guy. He's something different. It's nice to have something, you know, unique that's not just, you know, the regular Optimus or Bumblebee or Megatron or whoever. It's nice to have something different, something very unique. It's going to look really cool on the shelf with my other figures. I can't wait to get the rest of the primes for this line and have them all together on my shelf. That's going to be really cool. I'm really, really looking forward to having the rest of these guys. And Prima on its own, he's pretty cool. I like him a lot. He doesn't have a whole lot of paint, but it's nice because you don't have to worry about too much about the paint chipping or anything. You don't feel like you're going to ruin him by handling him. Transformation is simple, but fun. I do like it. All in all, he's a pretty good figure. So, for a retail of about $34.99, $35, Yeah, he's pretty cool. I'd say if you are interested in him, consider picking him up. He's a really, really, really cool figure. But yeah, that's all I've really got left to say about him. I appreciate you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you are so inclined to. And that's it for me today. So I hope you guys have a great one, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.